I think you and I all know Jesus would hate the Christians of today. You know, he would not like them at all. So let's talk about how to discuss this with our Christian friends and family, the ones who constantly want to tell us how Jesus wouldn't like what's going on in our world today, but they're looking at the wrong things. So I want to start talking this time about Matthew. Let's start right at the beginning. Matthew, first part of the Bible. Matthew 23:4. Jesus said of the Pharisees, they tie up heavy, cumbersome loads and put them on other people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. If that doesn't sound like our rich overlords, I don't know what does. Yeah, they make it real hard for the rest of us. But they have all the money, and they don't have to do the heavy lifting. We do the heavy lifting. We make their money for them. And God would not be okay with that. Matthew 23:5-7. Everything they do is done for people to see. Yeah, for people to see. I don't know how to say the word. They make their phylacteries. Okay, I know what it is. It's a they kept their like biblical scriptures on a leather pouch thing on them. So they make them wide and the tassels on their garments long. They love the place of honor at banquets and most important seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and to be called rabbi by others. So, yes, they drive the fancy cars. They live in big fancy houses. They wear fancy clothes. Yeah, they like to show off. They like to have $1 million dinners. Mm-hmm. Like to be respected. But we don't respect them, do we? No. They like their great big churches, the great big pretty churches. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They love those. But they're not, God was not okay with that. He saw that as hypocrisy. He wasn't okay with it. Matthew 23:23. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give a tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law: justice, mercy, faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter while neglecting the former, without neglecting the former. This reminds me of the old lady who was like you know, the rich guys were donating to the church, and this little old lady gave everything she had. And Jesus said what she gave was more important than what they gave because she was giving more comparative to what she had. She was giving her all. They were just giving pittance of what they had, which is exactly what our rich are doing today. It's exactly what the poor are doing today. A lot of us don't get out of poverty, partially because it's really difficult to get out of poverty, but also because we are willing to give somebody who's struggling the shirt off our back because we know what it's like. Because even though I have a nice home that I live in, I have over the years invited so many people to come into my home because they didn't have anywhere to go. And I would do it in a heartbeat. Anyone in my house will do it in a heartbeat. We will help anybody because we know what it's like to have nothing. The rich people, they're not willing to give. They give their 10% to their church and think that's good enough. It's not. It's not. Not when they're stepping on the regular people in order to get where they are. And we know most of them are. Matthew 23:25. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, You hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they're full of greed and self-indulgence. Again, they want to look really good. They look really good. They're going to act like really good Christians. We are good Christians. But inside, they're mean, hateful people who don't care if children are starving, who don't care if people die without their insurance. They don't care. They don't care that if they would just stop their greed, everybody could be healthy and happy. Everybody. They just need to let go of some of their greed, which, by the way, is one of the 7 deadly sins. Just to throw that out there. Yeah, it's one of the 7 deadly sins you're supposed to avoid. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside will also be clean. So the inside, your inside is more beautiful. That's the part you're supposed to work on. If you are not clean on the inside, if you aren't kind and loving, helpful, all of the things that Jesus wanted us to be, feeding the hungry, helping the sick, helping the poor. These are the things that Jesus wanted us to do. Okay, Matthew 25:27. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. We get that. Again, you only worry about the outside. You act a certain way, but that's not what's really inside. That's not really what you're after. You say you want to feed, you say you care about children. Oh, we need to protect the unborn. Oh my God. But you know what? Once they come out, you don't give a shit. No, don't give a shit. Nope. We don't care. We don't care about you once you're born. See, but we're so good because we take care of the innocent unborn babies. But fuck you once you're born. Who cares about you? Not important. In the same way, on the outside, you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside, you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Straight from the Bible. Know the things you want to bring back to them. You know they're not reading this part of the Bible. You know they're not taking this part of the Bible to heart. No. I saw a minister who put this on. I was hungry and you cut my SNAP. I was thirsty and you cut funding for clean water. I was sick and you cut Medicaid. I was a stranger and you deported me. I was in prison and you just left me there to rot. Whatever you do to the least of these, you do unto me. So when they cut the SNAP, when they leave starving children, they're doing that to Jesus. When they cut the funding for clean water, they're doing that to Jesus. When they cut Medicaid, they cut Jesus's Medicaid. You know, if Jesus was here today, he would be deported because he was a brown-skinned, non-English speaking immigrant. But they don't care about that. They don't care about that. All those immigrants they sent to CCAT or to all the other crazy countries they're sending people to, yeah, they're doing that to Jesus. That was Jesus's words. That's what God said. So the next time one of your Christian friends or family wants to talk to you about how Christian they are and how bad you are, you can bring out the Bible. Show them the Bible. Show them the parts they're ignoring. Okay, getting down off my soapbox for today. That's just a little bit of religious education. Thanks. I'll talk to you later.